Hey guys, this is a video about homeschooling. I did one the other night and it was ended up being like 30 minutes long, and I went into detail and I was like, nobody's going to want to watch me for 30 minutes. So I decided to condense everything a little bit and try to put it together a little faster and talk a little faster. And while I don't have any kids here, that would be a good opportunity. So I'm going to try to make this video as quick as I can, but share everything that I need to as well. So I prayed about it last night because I want to bring you the right thing and I want to say the right thing, and I want to be a help to you. I don't want you walking away from this video and say, I didn't learn anything or that didn't help me at all. So let me start by saying that I am not a homeschool expert. I've been doing this for 10 years, so I do have a little bit of time under my belt, but I am still learning. And so I just want to share what I know, what's helped me, what curriculum we've used, kind of the process to go through to get started homeschooling. It can be a bit overwhelming when you start to think about it. And I in no way want to encourage you to homeschool if that's not something that you feel is that needs to be done for your family. Every situation is different. Every family is different. Every child is different. So you have to just kind of work around all that and do what you feel is best for your situation. So I wanted to say homeschooling sort of gets a bad rap sometimes. You have, just like in everything, you have people who are going to not do it correctly. You have people who are going to go overboard with it. There's just a lot of different options with homeschooling. But one thing is, homeschooling does not look like the virtual schooling that you had to be forced to do in the spring when your kids got sent home from school. So just know that you're not under that kind of pressure with homeschooling. So it is very different than what you experienced in the spring, if that gives you any encouragement in that direction. So when I first started homeschooling, I had this ideal picture in my head that it needed to look like a classroom and feel like a public school day and all this stuff. Well, and that is not required. And I suggest that you don't stress yourself out trying to replicate public school in your home, because it's your home. And I set up my class. I made like a whole upstairs room complete with a chalkboard and letters across the ceiling and school desk, the whole 9 yards. And we hated it. When we got back, the kids loved it at first. I loved it at first. I thought it was great. But we eventually learned that we did better just working at the kitchen table all together. So you have to just find what works best for you. Of course, if you feel like that's something you need is like a separate area, go for it. If you feel like you might do better having everybody work at their own pace, sometimes my kids like to do their work on the couch. Harrison likes to do his math laid out on the couch. It drives me crazy, but that's the way he gets it done. And I've just learned not to stress about it over the years. And so you just have to find what works best for you and your family. So I wanted to go into a little bit of the legal stuff that you need to do for homeschooling to get started. So if you are going to register, you're registering your home as a school. And so you can do that at ncdnpe.org. That's North Carolina Department of Non-Public Education. So something that you will have to do is come up with a school name, because you are establishing your home as a school. So what you want to do is you want to come up with a name. You don't want to just come up with something on the fly, because if you decide later to graduate your child from homeschool, from high school, that is the name that will be on their diploma. So I'll just take that into consideration when you're looking to come up with a school name. You have to go on, when you go to that website, you're applying for an intent to homeschool is what you're doing. And then you have to keep an attendance record on file at home. It has to be 180 days in a calendar year. And kids have to be tested at the end of each year, and you just keep those records on file. They do not have to be submitted to the state anymore. Just keep them on file at your home. Something else I wanted to mention is on their website, it says what they recommend is 5 hours per day on schoolwork. So you have to take into consideration that, my kids are usually done in about 3. Now, like Caroline last year did high school and college, so she spent a lot of time on schoolwork. But like for elementary and middle school, mine were done in like 3 hours. And so what you have to take into consideration is that the public school do things like lunch breaks, bathroom breaks, music, PE, art, library time, computer time, and you can have all those things at home as well. We do all those things and more. So it's don't get stressed about having to sit at a table for 5 hours and do schoolwork every day. That is not what it consists of. So some info about testing is we have always used Seton testing online, and it's like $25 for the online test at the end of the year. It's a survey edition of the CAT, which is the California Achievement Test. It tests them in everything they need to know about math and English, language arts and stuff. It covers everything that is required by the state, and so you can do it yourself, or you can have somebody test your children at the end of the year. I know they do like a Woodcock-Johnson testing center where you can take your child and have them tested at the end of the year if that's something that you feel like you want to do. So those are options for testing, and don't stress yourself out about that either. The records just have to be kept at your home on file. It does not have to be sent into the state anymore unless you get audited or they come and ask you to supply it. One thing I can recommend is that before you start looking at curriculums for your child, kind of figure out how your child learns best. Are they a visual learner? Are they an auditory learner? Do they do best reading stuff? It just depends on, do they do better on a computer? Do you feel like they do better like one-on-one instruction? Are they able to teach them? Are they like in middle school and able to kind of use a self-guided curriculum that's going to help you out a lot? So, or are they elementary? They need to be a little bit more hands-on. Do you need a full boxed curriculum? Like you need something? Are you the type of person who needs something to tell you what to do from start to finish? Are you the type of person who can just kind of wing it and put your curriculum together? And so those are lots of options to consider before you look at curriculums. If you want to grab a pen and paper, or if you already have one, and jot down some notes, I have a couple of websites that I was going to give you to look at. Some of the ones that I find very helpful to refer back to, especially when I'm looking at curriculum and stuff. The first one is called confessionsofahomeschooler.com. I've followed her since the beginning of homeschooling. She does a lot of helpful things. She also has her own curriculum that you can order from her. Another one is called simplehomeschool.net, I think. You can, it kind of does like homeschooling 101, how to get started with homeschooling, those kind of things. So those are a couple of helpful websites that I enjoy looking at. And if you go down the rabbit hole of searching for homeschool stuff on the internet, you will find an overwhelming amount of choices to look at. Okay, I'm going to go over some curriculum that has worked for us and that we really like. And there's like 1,000 options of curriculum. So in no way am I suggesting that this is what you have to order or this is what you have to follow. Sometimes it's just helpful to look and see curriculum in person, and that way or to hear firsthand experience from somebody. That way you know if that's the direction you might want to go. So I'm going to flip this around and show you some curriculum here. So this is our math program that we used, and it is teaching textbooks. They have it for each grade level, even up to like algebra, pre-algebra, and geometry and stuff. So this comes in a CD-ROM set, but we no longer have the computer that works these anymore. I used it for a long time with all my kids, but now they offer it online at Teaching Textbooks for $40. I'm sort of out of the elementary stuff. I have one left in that, but if you need to do like supplemental stuff, you can always find these little books at just like the dollar store or Walmart, or even Sam's has the bigger books that you can do supplemental stuff. My kids absolutely hated this multiplication song. This came with a CD, but they learned their multiplications from it. So, and I would hear them singing the song later on. So it did work. And so and you can print out these sheets like for memorization and repetition for math. So there's lots of options you can use to supplement if you feel like you need to with this. This is some people think it's a very simple math. It's not Common Core, and to me, math doesn't need to be complicated. So sometimes they can jump ahead a grade in this if necessary. Okay, I'll show you a couple of science curriculums that we really like. This one is by Queen's Homeschooling, and she has a lot more than just science stuff. I've used a lot of their workbooks and a lot of their writing books and stuff, and I love their curriculum. This one is a science curriculum about discovering nature series. It's Animal Friends. We love animals around here, so what I did, I taught multiple kids, so what I would do is make copies of the stuff. We would do the lesson together, and then I would have them fill out their own sheets here. Another one of the science curriculums we used was Christian Kids Explore. This is an Earth and Space one. We also did this one together, and it was a lot of fun. We learned a lot about space and stuff like that, and then it has little hands-on activities and science experiments that you can do all together. So while we're discussing curriculum, I do want to tell you, I'm showing you a lot of mixture of curriculum because that's what I've always done. I've always mixed and matched my stuff depending on each child and cost-wise. You can order, like if you want something from start to finish, it's going to tell you everything you need to do for that grade level. There's like My Father's World, and there's a lot of other whole curriculums that you can choose to do. They are quite expensive. They're like $500 to $800 sometimes. So we have 4 kids, so I couldn't do that. So I've always just kind of mixed and matched my stuff. And that's what I'm showing you, just to give you an idea of some different curriculums. Okay, this is another science curriculum. It's Apologia Science, and this is just one of their science curriculums. This is Swimming Creatures of the Fifth Day. It's kind of creation-based teaching. That's what I liked about it. And then I also did the same thing as made extra copies of this, and just had them do the work on their sheets. And that way you've got the book for later if you want to. But this comes with a notebooking journal, and this is the book here. We had a lot of fun with this one because I did it with all of them, and we created like an aquatic box, and they got to make animals to go in it and stuff. So this was a neat little science curriculum. So this is a few of the history curriculum, a couple that we've done in the past that we liked. This one is called The Story of the World, and it is this one, they have several volumes for different times. This one is ancient times. This is their activity book. It's got lots of chapter work and stuff like that in it, and like activities, foods to make, all kind of stuff that goes along with that. This is the chapter book you read. The only thing we liked this one, the only thing is pretty what you would call preparation intensive. So you have to do kind of a lot of prep work, I feel like, for this one. So if you really like history and you have some time to do that, this is a great curriculum. This is another one that I loved along with the kids. It's called America the Beautiful. It's by Knotgrass, and it has it's like a 2-year program. And Caroline did this one at upper middle school, early high school, I think. She really liked this one. It has like the lesson books, the student workbook, maps and stuff like that. And I feel like she really liked this one, and I feel like we learned a lot from it. And I do the same thing. I do copies of the workbook and stuff so we can do it all together and kind of gear it toward the grade level. Okay, so one of my all-time favorite curriculums to use is called The Good and the Beautiful. They have everything. They have like math and science and all kind of programs for kids, and we love it. Like, it's one of my favorite. My only regret is that I didn't have this when my older two were younger. So this is one of their curriculums. This is their language arts, which includes like English spelling and all that. What I like about this program is it really truly is like good and beautiful. That's the way to explain it. Like, it has such pretty pictures and stuff in it, and the stories are just great and real life, and but includes lots of spelling and vocabulary words and grammar and all that stuff. The other thing I like about this is it's an all-inclusive program with geography and art and everything. So anyway, it comes with a shared reader or a reader like for the upper grades, like with chapter books that go along with whatever what lesson you're on. It has a daily checklist for them to check off. It comes with vocabulary and grammar cards, and it also comes with geography cards, like flashcards. So that's one thing I love about this program. It was kind of an all-inclusive, and it's sort of laid out for you. You don't have to, there's not a lot of prep work with this one. This is also Good and the Beautiful. It's their handwriting. This is a new one that I've ordered for next year, but it goes over cursive writing and stuff. And a lot of people say, well, we don't need cursive anymore, but I taught all my kids cursive writing because I feel like it improved their handwriting in general. And I feel like that's something it's easy to do. It's something they can kind of learn. It goes over and shows them how to do it on their own. So why not? I just think it improves their handwriting. This is the Good and Beautiful if you're interested in it for high school. This was what Caroline done for her high school, part of her high school English. There was, it's like a 10-book series, and it's like little thin books, but they're really good. They have lots of pictures in them and stuff like that go along with the unit. And she really liked doing this. She felt like she got more out of this program than a lot of her other ones. Okay, I promise this is the last one I'll show you, but this is worth mentioning. These are little Explode the Code books. They go up to book 8. They're not necessarily by grade level because mine tend to move through these pretty fast. I think Ella Kate is doing this one right now, and she's in 6th grade. So they like all the little funny pictures and stuff. They're little cheat books, and they use a lot of big words and have them read stories and stuff like that. And I just feel like it is they get through it pretty fast, and they're only like $6 to $8 on Christian book distributors or Amazon. So I usually try to order these ahead and have them if they work through it, because they just really love these little books. So they're worth having. Okay, now that we're finished going over curriculums, I'll show you how I sort of organize our stuff, and I'll turn you around and show you my cabinet. I'm in the middle of transitioning over like what we've already finished and what I've got to order still for curriculum wise, but I'll show you what works for us. Like, I have these wooden file folders that I keep each child's stuff in. So all their stuff, so they just come every day and just grab their stuff. Of course, it's not all in here right now, but they grab their stuff, go to the table, and then we can work on it as we need to throughout the day. But my cabinet is a mess right now. All my notebooks fell over. But I'm thinking about transitioning over. I've got a different cabinet I want to use, so I was thinking about transitioning over to baskets this year, but we will see. So years ago, when the kids were smaller, like, I had a whole schoolroom. So I've condensed now into one cabinet because mine are older, and basically it's just curriculum and books now. So, but years ago when mine were younger, we did a lot of like puzzles and manipulatives and workbooks and calendar stuff and flashcards and things like that. So it helps if you can have I would recommend having all your stuff in one place, like one room or one designated cabinet or whatever, so your kids have an easier time like going and getting it out every day, and it's kind of laid out what they need to do, and it helps you to kind of keep focus instead of having it all over the house. So to wrap this up, the other question I always have, or people always make a comment about, is socialization. Like, my kids need to be with other kids, and they need to have activities, and they need this. Well, my kids have always, I feel like we've always been able to do more because we wasn't in school, and that's just for our family. I know everybody's different, but like, my kids have always been involved in art classes and co-op, music classes. They've played all kind of sports. They play baseball. They do church activities. They're a part of a youth group. They're a part of Girl Scouts. They're a part of, they have really been able to actually be more socialized with a wider variety of people and age groups, which I feel has been very beneficial for us. Like, we love to do field trips, and we do, we do so much together. We camp, we hike, we bike, we have friends over, they have cousins. We're not a hermit family. We like to be out and about and go. So, that's always kind of been an advantage for us because we weren't tied to anybody else's schedule. We were on our own schedule. And if we wanted to get finished with schoolwork before lunch and then take the rest of the day to go to the river or go hiking or go do something fun, we had the opportunity to do that. So that's one thing that is a little bit different. You just have to be able to incorporate those things so that your kids are having enough time, to socialize and do fun activities and make the best of it. One other thing I wanted to mention is like dual enrollment. If your kids want to play sports, homeschooling has never held my children back from doing anything. So the only thing is if you're in our local county, and every county and state is different about how they approach including homeschoolers in like a dual enrollment program for sports or anything with the schools. With our local county, for middle school, they have to do 3 online classes. They have to be enrolled half of the time. So they have to do 3 online classes every 9 weeks, just like the blocks are in school. And but those weren't bad at all. Harrison did that so he could play middle school baseball. And with the high school, they actually have to go to the high school for 2 classes a day to be included, to be able to play sports for the school. Another thing that I would recommend if you have a high schooler is you can enroll them through the local college. Now, every place may be different, so you have to check with your local college. You can ask about an advisor at your college for that kind of program. But we did the CCP, it's College and Career Promise, I think is what it's called. And she was able to take college courses, and you can double count those. So like, she finished up her 2 college Englishes, and I was able to count that for her 11th and 12th grade year English. So it worked out really well for us because she went to school for free, and she has like 38 credit hours of college already for free by the time she graduates from high school. So she only has a few more to finish her associate's degree, and she will not owe anything for her associate's degree. So to wrap this up, I just wanted to let you know that you have a huge support system behind you if this is the route you decide to take for this school year. And it doesn't even have to be long term. Just, if you feel more comfortable having your child at home during all this COVID stuff, you can always, it doesn't mean you can't send them back to school. That is always an option. I'm always here if you need to shoot me a message, or you just need some support, or you need a shoulder to cry on for the day, because there will be tough times. And there will be times that you threaten, you're going back to school. And so there's a huge support system behind you. So do not feel like you're in this alone. If you do get started with homeschooling and you're in this county and you're local it's there's a group called HARC, and it's the Homeschool Association of Rutherford County. That's a homeschool group that you can join. There's lots of moms that I know would be 100% willing to help you and encourage you in any way you need. And we also do a co-op in the fall and in the spring for 8 weeks, just on Fridays. And that's where we meet at Adaville Baptist Church, and the kids are able to take 4 classes of their choice, and it gives them like some elective stuff, and it gives them a chance to like interact with other kids and be and it gives us moms a break too. So it's like I think we go from 9 to 1 on Friday. So that's something you can look into if that's if you decide to homeschool this year and it's something you'd be interested in. So if you've stuck with me this long and you've not bored you to death, there is a couple of scriptures that I really like that I refer back to every time, when I'm having a hard day, or when I wonder if I'm doing the right thing for my kids, or the devil starts making you question God's will for your life, and if you're doing the right thing, and if you're in the right path. So one of these is Isaiah 41:10, and it says, "Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness." That scripture just always speaks volumes to me, because it said the first thing it starts out with is "fear thou not." So if you know that you're doing the right thing for you and your family, you will receive a lot of criticism, and sometimes even from family. And you just have to know that you're doing the right thing for your child, and you're doing the best you can for them, and fear not. It's that doesn't mean that you won't have times that you will doubt yourself, but if you know that that's what God wants you to do, then you stand firm in that and just believe that He will see you through. Another scripture that I really liked, that I had on my refrigerator when I first started homeschooling, and it just spoke to me, was Deuteronomy 32:2. And it says, "Let my teaching fall like rain, and my words descend like dew, like showers on new grass, like abundant rain on tender plants." And I know those were Moses' words, but they reflected what I felt like. I'm raising the next generation. I am raising somebody who will become adults and take my place one day. And so everything I say or do is important. And I wanted my teaching to also be that way, to be fresh and fun and exciting. And I love that verse. So I hope you have found some encouragement and instruction from this. I hope you found what you were looking for. Maybe this helped you, make a decision about curriculum, or make a decision about homeschooling if you're on the fence, or I hope this has been helpful. I am here to support you in any way. I'm a phone call or a message away if you have any questions. You can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. So I will be praying for you to make the right decision for your family, and I hope that if you decide to homeschool, that you have a very joyous and prosperous homeschool year ahead.